Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. So wonderful to be together. Even though we're in these boxes, keep thinking about how our faces are closer to each other when we're on Zoom than we're in person. Often when we're in person, we also have masks on. I was lucky to go to services at Romemu, Brooklyn this past Shabbat, but we were wearing masks almost the whole time. And here I can see all of your faces. Well, most of you. Hello. My name is Sarah. I'm the director of Romemu Yeshiva, and I have the pleasure of introducing today's meditation teacher, Yael Shai. Yael was on the faculty of Romemu Yeshiva this past May, June, is a writer, is a consultant, and is also a student in the Romemu Yeshiva. And Yael is going to be leading us in a brief teaching and today's sit. And she's also going to tell us about an opportunity to do some learning with her coming up soon. I pass the mic over to my teacher and colleague, Yael. And actually, before I pass the mic, I'll say that we are going to be continuing these daily sits through December 10th. And then we're going to be on a little break, and we're going to give you some tools for keeping up your practice during the break. We will not be meeting this Thursday and Friday, and we will also email you everything that I'm saying, so you can just be present with what's happening. Now I pass the mic to you, Yael.
Thank you so much, dear Sarah, my teacher and colleague. And so wonderful to be with all of you. Some of you I know, some of you I don't, but it's so nice to see you and be with you. I'm going to, before I jump into the teaching, I just want to give you this link for a class that I'm teaching. Didn't seem to work, did it? I don't know if you got that as a link. Oh, good. It looks like it worked. So this class is called Choose Joy. It's a 5-week course that is both asynchronous and synchronous. So it starts the beginning of December, and it has modules across 5 weeks, and we'll meet also weekly to discuss what you're learning in the modules and the journaling prompts and the guided meditations. And then you get a chance to ask questions and to build community. And the course is about deepening or building a meditation practice that really sticks. And I think, like, since you are coming to these sits, you really have a passion for this. And we'll go into topics about what's standing in the way of your joy, what is your suffering made of, and how can you live with more ease, more freedom, and more joy in your life. And so please join us. This registration only continues through this week. So that's that. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. Now to the beautiful subject at hand today. So this week's Parsha is Vayishev. And the very first words of the Parsha are these ones that I just posted in the chat. Now Jacob settled or sat, that's the Vayeshev, what the parsha is named after, in the land of his ancestors' sojournings in the land of Canaan. And this doesn't sound like a very big deal, but immediately commentators from all over the place are jumping onto this first sentence as if there is a very big problem with it. And there is a very big problem with it if you keep reading the text, because the way that this is written is it sounds lovely, right? Like he's finally settling. He's had a tough time of it. He's had a lot of trials and tribulations already before he comes here and tries to settle in the land of his ancestors. And Jacob himself, it would seem, is like, and I'm done. I'm done with the struggles. I've had enough since the time I was born with his brother trying to marry the woman he actually wanted to marry instead of her sister. And all of that kind of turmoil, the wrestling with God, all of that has happened and he's ready to be done. And what a lot of the commentators are jumping on here is like, that sounds nice, Jacob, and yet that's not your story. The truth is you are not done, that there is tremendous amount of turmoil that's boiling and bubbling in his family. This is right at the moment after we get these lines where we find out that Joseph is hated among his brothers and he gets thrown into the pit and then sold into slavery. And it's at the beginning of like a real traumatic, rift, painful journey within his family. And my take on all of the commentaries and the kind of rebukes of Jacob for thinking he can settle down at this moment is more of like, what Jacob is trying to do is a little bit of something that you might have heard that's called kind of spiritual bypassing, kind of trying to float above and out of the things that are happening in his life, the very real things, instead of the moving through the suffering, to really open your eyes to what is happening, to process it, to work with it, and to settle and sit from that place versus the like the escapism place. And personally, I don't know about you, but I can personally very much identify with Jacob, if this is what he's doing, this kind of desire to like flee the house, to like turn off the bad news, and to just kind of pretend it's not happening, but it's happening. And every time we do that move of kind of running away from the truth, from what Rabbi Alan Lew used to call a psychic squint, where we try not to see the pain of the world, it ends up, just like with it does with Jacob, it ends up causing us more pain. And so I have one quote for you from Mark Epstein, who's Dr. Mark Epstein, who has written several beautiful books. And this is from his book called The Trauma of Everyday Life. And it's particularly, the reason why I'm putting it here is because it's particularly good for us meditators, for those of us that maybe could be guilty of trying to kind of meditate away our problems, meditate away our trauma or ourself, and just kind of float away from the self, the conflict, the trouble, the healing that needs to be done into like a different realm. And he wrote, "My understanding of no self," the Buddhist concept of no self, there's also a Jewish concept of no self, was limited at this point early in his practice. I took it to mean that my inner anxiety, my self, was unreal and then would drop away once I woke up. It was confusing to find that meditation, rather than dropping me into a void of no self, backed me into myself. While meditation was teaching me to hold myself with a light touch, it was also helping me to emerge through my suffering and not in spite of it. And I love the image of meditation, this practice backing us into ourselves, of kind of coming deeper into our bodies and our truths rather than floating away from them, transcending them. Not obviously faster than what feels safe, but to the degree, at the pace that you can do that backing into yourself that feels okay and that feels safe to do. And the last thing I'll say before we jump in is that I think this is very relevant to Thanksgiving. I am just not the kind of meditation teacher that, maybe because it's just not true for my own life, that kind of just easily floats into like a pure blissy gratitude state of that sometimes this holiday or celebration for some people sometimes pulls forth. And for many of us, this holiday or period, festival, whatever you call it, might be very painful, and it might have about as much turmoil or more than Jacob had in his family. And maybe you don't have the family that's nearby. Maybe you're on your own. Maybe you have family, but they don't see you. Maybe, there's some combo in between. And maybe it's just pure joyful and gratitude, in which case, God bless you. That's wonderful. But the ask here, the kind of request, I think, of this parsha, of this moment, is to keep our eyes as open as we can to what is true for us in this moment, for what's true for us moving into these days of Thanksgiving, and not abandon that truth, to really stay close to that truth, no matter what else is happening in our environment. It takes a lot of bravery, but that's what we're here to practice. So I invite you to find a comfortable position as we kind of settle and sink into this practice. You can give your body any kind of stretch, twist, opening. Feels nice for you in this moment. Taking extra care to relax your shoulders, to take a few deep breaths, to do that backing into your own body, settling into your body, just as it is right now. Feeling your feet against the floor if you're sitting, or against whatever it is that they're touching. Feeling the seat underneath you. Opening up across the heart, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the shoulder blades down the back. Releasing and relaxing the arms, wrists, fingers, and hands. Softening the jaw and the muscles of the face. If it feels okay for you, you can lift upwards through the crown of the head, bringing your chin about parallel or slightly down. You can close your eyes, or you can keep them softly focused in front of you. Settling in to your body, to your breath, to this moment, just as it is. Feeling yourself supported, feeling yourself held. Literally by the ground underneath you, by your seat. Feeling yourself being breathed by life, by the divine. You can choose one anchor to drop back into, whether that's the rising and falling of the breath, the feeling of your feet against the floor, your hands and what they're touching. Bringing your attention back over and over again, paying attention to life as it is, to just this moment with this anchor, how it feels in the body. Letting the thoughts, whatever they are, softening and letting them go one after another. Dropping back in, backing yourself in to just this truth of just this moment. If you notice that there are things that are present, subtle or not so subtle, maybe your first instinct is to turn away from or to float over and above. If you can move towards those feelings, those resistances or places of pain, with gentleness, with breath, with a lot of kindness. Sometimes it helps me to put a hand on my chest to just really tell my body that I'm offering this kindness, or your belly. Letting each breath be a kind of a attention, cradling, soothing any parts that are struggling. You don't need to get in too far into the stories of the struggle. Just the physical sensations. the body and breath, opening, welcoming, and sending love. No need to get rid of anything, to push anything away. We're welcoming each moment just as it is. Bringing our heart to every moment. If you'd like, you can set an intention for how you want to move through the next few days. For how you maybe want to avoid Jacob's form of settling, of trying to transcend the problems, and maybe approach life with open eyes, with open heart, with a willingness to stand in the middle of it, just as you are. Doing your best. Whatever your intention is, you can breathe it in, let it move through your body and become a part of you. May the intentions and the meditations of all of our hearts be in alignment with the divine and help us move towards a more just and good world.
Thank you so much, Yael. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you, everyone watching on Facebook and YouTube in the future. I'm so grateful that you're taking advantage of the fact that we're recording these. We have Anna behind the scenes. Thank you, Anna. I'm going to cue that music. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.